Hi, welcome to the first lesson on light. Before we begin the lesson, here are some tips on how you can learn better by watching the video. Firstly, watch the entire video first and take note of the important points. After that, you can watch the video again and then you pause the video to take notes. For this lesson, we'll be covering the following points. What is light? What is energy? Why is light important? What are light sources? How does light travel? And how do we see things? So, the first question is, what is light? And since the subject light is under the topic of energy, so therefore light is actually a form of energy. So light is a form of energy. And for this year, you'll be learning two types of energy, light energy and heat energy. So for energy, there are many different types. Okay, many different types of energy. But for this year, we'll be only learning light and heat. And so that brings us to the question, what is energy? So energy enables things to change or move. For example, plants, or other living things require energy in order to grow and to carry out life processes. And likewise for animals, animals need energy also in order to grow and also to move around, right? And it also applies to other objects as well, for example like vehicles, they also need energy in order to move. So energy is that which enables things to change or move. And there are many different forms of energy like heat energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, etc. So next, why is light important? So let's take a look at what's happening in this screen, or on the screen here, and maybe you can guess why light is important. Do you notice? What do you notice that is happening? Yes, we can only see the shoes when the light is turned on. So therefore, why is light important to us? Because light enables us to see. So without light, we will not be able to see anything, and that's why only when the light bulb is switched on or the lamp is switched on, then we can see the pair of shoes. Besides this, why is light important? Well, you've learned in primary 3 that light is needed by plants for photosynthesis. So light is needed by plant for photosynthesis to produce food, right? To produce food. And so that's why light is important to us also. Because it enables plants to produce food, and in turn, other organisms which feed on the plant or depend on the plant for food can get the energy that they need. And this brings us to the next question, which is what are light sources? So light sources are basically anything that, or any object that gives off light or can produce light. And the sun is the main source of light and heat energy on Earth. And besides that, we can also have man-made light, like for example your torchlight, your lamps and all that, or it can be fire. So when you burn something, it will give off light. And other sources of light could include, for example, candles, lamps, and even, for example, like your television set and all that, which gives off light. Those are considered light sources as well. And since anything that produces light is a light source, so therefore in nature, there are also some animals that are able to produce light. For example, like the fireflies. You can see the fireflies in this picture here. or some types of jellyfish, as well as other types of animals. Okay, other types of animals as well, like this squid, I think. So this means that light sources can also be living things which gives off light or produces light. And let's take a look at this list of objects here. Can you see or spot any object here that might be a light source? If you said the lamps, then you are correct, because the lamps, when you turn them on, they give off light. So you can see that there are two lamps here. Okay. And another light source could be the camera flash here. Okay. So now that I've understood what are light sources, the next question is, how does light travel? Okay, how does light travel from one area to another? And the answer is, light travels in a straight line. And we've observed light around us. We can actually observe many times how light travels. For example, if you take a look at this, this shows a picture of a torchlight, and there are some smoke in front to show the light beams. And what you notice is that for this, the light travels out from, let me change the color, the light travels out from here, and all the lights from here are traveling in straight lines out from the torchlight. So the light doesn't bend and then doesn't curve or go around the back and all that. It travels in straight line out from the torchlight. And we can take a look at the next example. Which is something that you will see at night. Let's say that, for example, you have your street lamps. And for the street lamps, what you notice is that there are certain areas which are lighted up and certain areas which are not lighted up. And why is that so? If you understand science, you realize that, oh, the light from here travels in a straight line and it reaches until here. And the light, there's no light beam that's traveling this way. So therefore, this part here, okay, there's no light, so it's in darkness, so it's dark or black. And here, this part here, where the light is shining, or where the light beams are traveling to, is lighted up. And I can give you another example. A common example. For example, let's say that you have a candle. If you take a look at candles, one thing you notice is that when you light up the candle, there's always a dark area. Okay, there's always a dark area at the base of the candle. At the base of the candle, there's always a dark area. And if you understand that light travels in a straight line, then you realize something. The light from here travels in a straight line, but then it's blocked by the candle. So therefore, the light only reaches this area here. And so this part here, okay, this part here would then be would then have a shadow because the light doesn't shine on it. And same thing, let's say that the light shines, and the light shines from the candle and it travels outwards in this manner. You see that the light, since it travels in a straight line, when it travels this way, it's blocked by the container. So therefore, a shadow is formed. Of course, there are also other ways which you can show that light travels in a straight line. For example, you can conduct an experiment. You can conduct an experiment like this, where you have a light source, okay, maybe a candle here, and then you have different cardboards, all placed in a straight line with holes on the cardboard. And when the cardboard is in a straight line, you will be able to see the candle flame. But if one of the cardboard is moved to the side, any one of the cardboards will do, the cardboard is moved to the side, then what happens is that you will find that the light which travels in a straight line cannot travel through the holes, and therefore you cannot see the candle flame. So this is a simple experiment to show that light travels in a straight line. And after understanding how light travels, the last part of the lesson will be, then how do we see things? And how do we see things? So we can get a clue from the slide previously when I showed you the lamp and the shoe, and notice that each time I turn on the lamp, you will be able to see the shoe. So now let me add in a picture of a person. Let's say that it's you. And what happens is this: when we turn on the lamp, we're able to see the shoe. So therefore, the light must be traveling from the shoe into our eyes. And where does this light come from? Since the shoe is not a light source, so therefore the shoe must be reflecting the light from the lamp. So that means that when we turn on the lamp, the light from the lamp shines on the shoe, and then the light bounces off, or we say reflected, off the shoe, and then it travels into our eyes. So how do we see things? We see things when the light from a light source is reflected off the object that we are seeing into our eyes. So we see things because of the reflection of the light from the objects into our eyes. And so if there is no light, then therefore we will not be able to see any objects at all. And here's a common question which students are normally asked: is the moon a light source? So the answer is no, because the moon actually reflects the light from the sun into our eyes. And if you take a look at this picture here, you can see that the moon doesn't actually give off light. It is the sun which is giving off light, and the sun's rays, okay, the sun's light travels to the moon, and then the moon reflects the light, okay, to us on earth. So therefore we are able to see the moon. And if we take a look at this picture here, you can see that we can see many different objects, and all these objects in the picture is actually reflecting light into our eyes. And of course the light source in this picture is the sun. And so now here's a question for you: why are there so many different colors when we look at the picture? If you're interested, maybe you can find out yourselves, or you can ask your teacher. Right. That's all for today's lesson. Please remember to write down some notes in your notebook.